We are super excited to see so many people here at our live stream gallery. At this time, I'm going to introduce my colleague who's responsible for getting this awesome event here in this space and just responsible for all these beautiful faces that we see. Please give it up for our member of our community outreach team, Mr. Melvin Whitman.
Thank you so much for coming out. And again, welcome to the Commission on Arts and Humanities. And we're just going to get right to it so we know what we're here for this evening. So without further ado, we're going to bring on our Commission Chair, Mr. Reggie Van Lee.
Only George Clinton could get me in this outfit that is about 100 years old, so if I breathe too hard, I might pop. But anyway, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the D.C. Commission on the Arts and Humanities.
So Mr. Clinton, this has been one of the greatest privileges of our lives to take on the task of showcasing all of this wonderful visual art as well as the memorabilia from his family and his personal family collection. If you look around, there are things that you have not seen before and will not see anywhere else but right here, okay? Because everything that you see around here came from these individuals right here. When you leave from here, I want you to use the hashtag the capital of creators. Alright? DC is the artistic capital of this country, and these are my examples right here, okay? So all around you should inspire you. The curator, DC's curator, the curator of the DC Commission on the Arts and Humanities, Dr. Michelle May.
You cannot believe how good it feels to see people dancing next to art without dancing and singing next to art without singing. You can't believe how good that feels.
If you have any type of artistic expression that you would like to share with us, if you have something you want to develop, or you want to collaborate, this idea came to us, and this person here made it happen. So,
also, I want to thank the Commission of Arts for allowing us to be here and be placed here.
Yes, I just want to first of all say thank you so very much for coming out again to the DC Commission on the Arts and Humanities. I think we had a great time yesterday, and I just think first of all we should just thank our leadership, Mr. Reggie Van Lee, Mr. Aaron Myers. My name is Melvin Winton, and I work with the community outreach here at the DC Commission. I'm kind of nervous that we've been doing this for like months now. I'm sitting like, oh my God. But this is such an important part of the day 2 scenario because you have to talk about protecting your legacy. You know, my background is in entertainment, media, and law, and that's what we do. You know, I can't dance, I can't sing, but I can help you with your deal, you know, help you move forward. So that's kind of what we want to talk about a little bit today. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up Mr. Reggie Van Lee, and then we're going to have Mr. Aaron Myers. They're going to give remarks. I'm going to come back. We're going to then introduce our speaker for today, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I know I stand between you and an amazing panel discussion. So as Kim Kardashian told her first husband, this would not take long. I just want to add to the thanks for Melvin. I want to thank George Clinton and his family for allowing us this opportunity. And as Melvin said, I thank both the leadership of the Arts Commission and the staff because it takes a whole lot of energy and a whole lot of determination to pull something off like this. And for those of you who were here last night, we had well over 500 people in this gallery for the reception. When I started as chair of the commission 3 years ago, in my first year as chair of the commission, if I added up the number of people in this gallery over the entire year, it was not as many people as we had here last night. So thank you. And now I'll turn over to my real boss, Aaron Myers, the executive director.
I want to thank you all for coming here, especially for midday talks during the week. It shows your real commitment and your care about the subject matter, what we're doing here in the commission. I want to make sure that the staff that has been working tirelessly over the last few days to make sure this can happen. We extend our gratitude to them and their hard work and dedication. I encourage all of you to go to dcarts.dc.gov. That is dcarts.dc.gov. Everyone say dcarts.dc.gov. That we have so many grants here, and we want to ensure that you take advantage of the grants that we have here so that we can help you take some of those dreams and make some of those dreams a reality, right? And from one artist to another, I welcome you here to our home. Mr. Clinton, thank you to the family. Thank you for sharing him with us. A lot of times we don't think about that, but families share their loved ones who do such great work in the world. So thank you to the family for sharing Mr. Clinton with us. We appreciate you. Thank you.
We can't go any further without giving an applause to Miss Michelle May Curry. This was all of her. Michelle, please come up and just say 2 words.
Clap for longer. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michelle May Curry. I'm the curator of our I Street Gallery space and the co-curator of the show that you're seeing here today. We had an incredible night last night. You all showed up. I know I'm seeing a lot of faces that I saw last night here today. I really appreciate your time. I'm so excited to hear what you all are speaking on today because it's a really important part of this gallery space is to use this civic art space, this public art space to have public conversations about art, about advocacy, and about artists' rights. So thank you so much for coming. I'm gonna turn it over to, who's talking next? All right, thank you so much.
You know, it's really kind of interesting when we're out and about and meeting people in the city, and you know, when you hear the word arts, they always kind of think that in here, you know, we're coloring and making stuff and painting, but basically, we're actually doing the business of the arts. I mean, every day it's business. you know, but this is what you see once you kind of get a result of the business that we do. So again, you know, Michelle and I talked for a while, and we said we thought this was something that we could do maybe about a year ago. And what I also wanted to do was just give, as they say, props to Ms. Tanisha Nelson. You know, I said to her, I said, hey, you know, I do something called Business of the Arts over here where I work. I would love to have a chance to interview your grandfather. So she listened. I said, okay, so okay, have something else. I said, well, I know that he paints. So maybe, you know, he could come over and maybe do something with some art. She said, okay, let's talk about it. And as we kind of moved forward, we came over and, you know, here we are now. I mean, I also want to give some props, as they say, to the Eden Hotel, because they gave us an opportunity for Mr. Clinton to have a celebration of his Cosmic Stop album for 50 years in 2023. So that was kind of the first part that didn't want to see. And all of this in DC, what I love so much is just like, it's almost like a big consortium of people that love the arts. So I just want to say, now I'm going to look at you and just say thank you so very much for just giving us some time. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started with the panel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read about our moderator for the day. And I'm just going to read it because I don't want to get it wrong. So Mr. Derek Ward from NBC4 is a general assignment reporter, and he's a native of the District of Columbia. Mr. Ward grew up in Marshall Heights and the H Street corridor in Northeast. He lived through the 1968 riots and documented his experiences on News 4 as part of the station's 40th anniversary coverage. Ward attended H.D. Woodson Senior High and the University of Maryland. Now, I didn't know that. I went to H.D. Woodson. I didn't even know he was a Ward. Okay, it's new, so I thought it was her. Right, and so Mr. Ward's journalism began in radio, and he worked for WPFW, WAMU, and WTOP, covering major stories such as the Iran-Contra hearings, the September 11th attack on the Pentagon, and the Washington area sniper shootings. When Ward made the move to television reporting, his first job was WKBW-TV in Buffalo, New York, and then he returned to Washington in 2006 and began reporting for News 4. And when not working, Mr. Ward spends time in his free time with his 3 children. He plays guitar and golf. So again, we just want to welcome Mr. Ward. He's going to introduce the other 2.
I know how to operate this, right? But more guitar than golf, trust me. I'm going to let these ladies introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about what they do, because I think it's so fascinating and it can be best expressed in their words. So I'm going to pass this along.
And we're going to start with you. Hello, my name is Tanisha Nelson. I'm George's granddaughter. I sing background with the band, Parliament Funkadelic, and I also work on his management team. And I was part of the process of curating this event here. I celebrate everything, P-Funk.
Hello everyone, and thank you for coming out to join us this afternoon. My name is Gabrielle German, and I am Mr. Clinton's daughter. I work as a part of the management team, and I serve as the executive director of the nonprofit foundation Protecting Our Legacy, born out of the dream of Mr. Clinton.
Let's talk about protecting the legacy. What are you protecting it from, and why is it so important that it be protected? And when you say protection, do you mean maintaining or nurturing?
The answer is yes. When we speak to protecting legacies, we are speaking to nurturing, we are speaking to maintaining. What we are protecting and what we're creating, it's almost, yes, it's protecting against, but also it's protecting your ability to make the decisions surrounding the art that you create. So yes, there are, record executives and companies that will take control of your art if they are allowed to. Yes, you will have to fight for your rights and your royalties. That is all very true. But just from the core and from the beginning, What we're fighting to protect is your ability as an artist to decide. You created the art. Maybe you decide if you want to monetize it. You decide if you want it to just be for pure enjoyment. And we want to educate musicians and artists so that they can make that conscious decision on how they want to handle their art, what they want to do with it, without there being a corporation, company, or anyone, another artist that takes that right to choose it. So Mr. Clinton has built an extensive legacy. The family, the band members have all built an extensive legacy, and there have been fights for years to control that, monetize that, reap the benefits of that, and it affects the artists, it affects generations beyond, their children, their grandchildren, it affects the art posture of other artists, because once you see one artist lose their rights or have to fight, it impacts the ability for the next artist to decide they want to get up and do that. We want to preserve the desire to create, the safety in creating, people's ability to monetize and control that, and that's what we think we're supposed to have.
At what point should an artist start being concerned about the business and the craft? You're learning to play, you're playing in bands, and the initiative is, I just want to play, I just want to paint, I just want to do my poetry or my rap. But all, as you're learning that craft, you should also be considering, what you want to do with it and the monetization of it, because generally people want to be successful. They see the handful of people who are immensely successful in things, and you want to emulate that. So at what point in your growth as an artist of any kind do you start looking at the business end of it?
Hello? Okay. I'll say this because I started off in the industry as an artist. The only thing I was really concerned about was creating. I wanted to be a singer. That's it, right? My mom worked on this management team, and I would watch her go through my grandfather's catalog and the whole masters, fight with masters and royalties, things of that nature. Things that my grandfather created along with his band members. And seeing how it bothered her to know that her father built this legacy, this fight for what he created, right? So when I started singing, I remember my granddad said, learn the business. And that's when, I started taking it a little more serious. Talking to my mom about it, watching, well, what does that mean? Why is this lawsuit happening? Why, you find out different songs that have been recorded from different artists, let's say Dr. Dre or something like that, and they sample the music and someone wasn't paid, meaning my grandfather. Then you're like, well, why did that happen, right? So just learning how to control your intellectual property and keeping it near and dear, because it can become really scary that you put all this time into the studio, you've put together a tour, like you put your heart and soul into your artistry, you missed out on kids, things of that nature, and then someone comes around and snatches it from you. So I believe in children now. The branding, all that, they're doing it. But learning the business on top of your craft will lead you in the right direction.
You have a family that was steeped in that, and I'm sure there's special, compelling things about working with family, good and bad, I imagine, especially when it becomes a family business, and one that involves art and the temperaments and the emotion that goes into that. Talk about the unique part of being part of a family organization and what, how that makes it unique and the advantages of that.
Well, I'll say this. I'll give you one part. So I'm on the road. So I deal with the band and all of that good stuff. It's fun. But it's also, like you said, where family is challenging. It's my grandfather's wife. It's myself. It's my cousin who's the road manager, my mom. My grandfather's other manager, Archie Ivy, I think he's been his manager for 50 years. So he's family, right? So it's this space that we've created, and we make it work. We're really tight and family. All my cousins, and everyone does something, right? When when it's time to get together, we get it done, right? Cousin, even if they're not in the industry, you know, cousin, hey, give me granddad, you know, whatever. So we make it work, and we all have one thing in common: we love George. So we get it right.
So what I was is Barbara Bishop is my older sister and a very integral part of our management team. And she's inherited her father's ability to recognize talent and abilities. So she knows her cousins, knows her nieces, knows her siblings, and she'll tell you, you have an eye for her. You are skilled in. And so she is able to place us in spaces and within roles that fit our natural skill set. And so in these roles and positions within the family business, you don't just have people that are fumbling trying to make something happen. You have intentionality. And that helps us in our individual pursuits. You know, you get opportunities that you may not get elsewhere. Even down to the younger ones. You know, our 14-year-old, grandchildren get to have opportunities to draw and showcase what they're doing. And then I would say, as far as what makes it unique, there is real life. You know, real life is, what might be grandpa's living room is a green room. You know, we have memories in the green room at the Motor City Casino in Detroit, and we've been there year after year after year, and that, becomes a place that's where family reunions happen. You know, our family reunions happen in venues and at concerts and at festivals, and that's just a little bit different than what you normally get. Do we sit down at home and actually have those moments? Yes, but a lot of our bonding and growing happens on tour buses and groups.
That's true.
Now, you've chosen through this foundation to share all of that with the community, to do outreach and let others benefit from your experiences and things. So I talk about that and how you get to the artists in the community before they have they're inspired and that spark is what's there.
Absolutely. So one thing that I believe and that I've learned in our efforts to discover, to reach, to communicate organically, because we have friends of friends of friends, and everyone has a relative that's interested in the music industry. So a lot of our introductions came naturally. A lot of musicians that my father's worked with before have had some of the same struggles, so they wanted to communicate and discuss what we've learned. And so a lot of it came organically through that, but what we also make sure that we do is just make ourselves present. Be in the mix when there's local shows, when there's opportunities at schools to see music, when there's big shows in cities and they have opening acts. Just make yourself present, get in there, be available, and watch and see who's out and who's creating, so that you can know the new ways that we need support. Because now we have CAH, and that's a whole other level of figuring out how to support musicians. But you just have to be in the mix and paying attention to who's out, who's creating.
Fostering that young talent. I can remember in my elementary schools, every year Mary McPartland would bring a jazz trio, and they would just sit up in the classroom and play. We didn't know what jazz was then, but we knew we liked that music, the upright bass and the acoustic things. How do you, now in this age of everything being electronic or synthesized or sampled, how does that change? How do you inculcate that culture of musicianship and appreciation of music, melodies as well as beats, and modality of things that really make music compelling to people?
I feel that I hope people have a natural appreciation for live music. It is hard. Now I'm seeing a lot more people playing instruments. Like, it's not dead at all, right? But it is different. You can go on your computer and hit a button, hit another button, and boom, like you have a whole song. And then now AI can write a song for you. Like, it's tripping. So I think, but I do believe that there's always an appreciation for someone who perfects their craft. And I don't think that will die. I mean, and honestly, people who produce music on their computer, that's a talent as well. It's just different. But that feeling when you come to a Parliament Funkadelic show and those instruments play and those harmonies blend, You can't get that anywhere else. You have to go to a show, you know, and feel that energy. So.
Concert or something you kind of felt the vibrations. You know, I felt it in my pants legs. I don't know if anybody else felt that. Yeah, okay, exactly. Right. And you know, with music and the accessibility, we talk about technology now. I mean, your Apple computer, your phone has enough to get you some tracks down. In the old days, you used to have that master tape. You'd have to buy studio time and things like that. Are you finding that that's helping? Or is it maybe telling people, some people who maybe really don't have it, that you know they do with all this technological support? And you don't want to discourage anyone who has that drive and that heart. Who knows who to say what's good and what's bad, but there has to be some sort of gatekeepers.
At this point, it's interesting. I mean, anyone can make music. Right? You purchase yourself a computer, you get you a little microphone, you set it up in your room, put a little something, 1, 2 together, and boom! Put it on social media, possibly, or put it on, you know, a streaming platform, and you can go. I think that it gives people a liberation to create, and you don't have to be tied down to what's on the radio, right? And you're able to groom yourself. And to reflect it back to P-Funk, that's what my grandfather did. He made music from his soul. He made music that he felt, hell, I don't know who will listen to this, but it's vibing for me. If I'm vibing, somebody else can vibe. And I think that a lot of artists wish they had that. You hear people talk when they get older, like older artists, and they say, you know, damn, I only made that record because that was the sound at the time, which is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with reaching for a hit. You want to be popular, you want to be able to monetize, but it's something different when you made it from your heart and it felt good, and you walked away and said, damn, that felt really good. And if other people connect with it, it changes the dynamic, if that makes sense. So I think that it's really cool that people are able to do their thing and put it out there and see who likes it. You know, you don't have to chase after a record deal anymore. Only thing I would say is they need etiquette, in my opinion. You know, the etiquette of, you know, doing an interview, how to speak, how to answer. That frustrates me. The music has always been edgy music. Even back then, you know, talking to my granddad, he'll say, you know, twist and shout be able to edgy song back then, or something like that. Like, you know, I had little girls moving in a circle, whatever. So there's always been edgy music, but a lot of the artists back then knew how to conduct themselves. Now you come on your phone and you're bound to see anything. That disturbs me.
Motown had its own pretty much a finishing school for their artists and things like that. Other labels have done that sort of thing. But the edginess is also part of it. I mean, especially if you look at rock and roll, you know, that was some bands' gimmick. They were more edgy than they were musicians and things. It's more about the image and what have you. So there's a balance to strike. How do you strike that balance too without suppressing whatever you know, talent that is, and even if it's compelling. I mean, if you get somebody's reaction, that's kind of what an artist wants to do. You want resonance and you want some reaction to it. So how do you make everybody, you know, like Motown did, or you know, do you play on their natural abilities, that natural edginess, and maybe just refine it a little bit so that it is at least palatable to mass audiences?
Yeah, I think you do have to find your pocket, but you want to still be authentic, right? And you still want to connect with the people. So it is important to take your lessons and then, you know, add it to who you are as a person and then push it out. So yeah, I think you have to find a balance because you don't want to feel stifled, you don't want to feel stuck, you know, but in my opinion, there's a way that sometimes you should conduct yourself. Now it's funny I said that because my granddad on stage, he's done wild things. But you know, I mean, it's been all type of things that's happened on the Instagram, and what are they saying? I'm lost. So you just gotta find your pocket. That's all.
And Agent Michelle, I remember back in the days, I just want to testify. We used to sit around with the homeroom table and sing that, that was our song, and later it's like, oh, it's still, right? But when you say protecting the legacy, and I think we talked about this a little bit earlier in the green room, the legacy can grow, or it doesn't stay the same. At first when people were sampling, people said, well, that's stealing. And we talked about how Chuck Brown was introducing people to Duke Ellington and Boogie Jordan, with Run Joe and Harlem Nocturne and things like that. And he put it to a go-go beat. And that was the legacy. Now, there may be some bebop purists that say, it's wrong beat for that. Things happen, things change, we modernize a bit, and I always, again, I get right back to that balance to be struck. When you protect the legacy, how do you not stifle the legacy?
It's all up to what the goal is at that time for the artist. And one thing that I have learned with watching my dad and how he feels between music and the changes in music, the new stuff comes out, and you think that people who play music and play instruments are going to be like, what is this? And he's on done it. He's here for all the new stuff, all the changes, all of the, what they do with samples excites him. Now, we gotta make sure we cleared it and paid for it. But what we do with samples is exciting for him. He likes to see what the new generations are doing. What else can you do? That's someone who purely appreciates the art. So you just kind of have to know what your why is and what your goal is. You don't have to stifle the legacy in order to protect it, as long as you have done your due diligence and all the paperwork is in order. You can do what you want to and work with who you want to and change it and grow it and flip it, and all the magic can happen. It's just, it kind of reminds me of the question that you were discussing. Artistically, you can go crazy as long as your business is in. And yes, you can be whatever you want to be on stage and, as loud and crazy as you want to, as long as when the time comes to talk about your business, you know how to sit down and talk about your business. Or you have people on your team that can sit down and talk about your business. And that's not the easiest to find. So as an artist, you need to know yourself. So yeah, have the people in place, know the base of what you need to know, have your art protected and your works protected, and then go crazy. You don't have to stifle. You don't stifle the art, it won't grow that way. Do crazy things with it, change it up, flip it up. I love the multimedia art that's around here. Do different things with it. Just have your business.
We can talk about the band a little bit, what you guys are doing now these days. People want to hear the classics, but you want to play the new stuff as well. So, how are the shows stacked? And just what's it like still being out there and seeing that crowd, and maybe even the new generation, new demographics coming to see you guys?
It is liberating, and it's the energy from the audience always, builds you up. So even if you're tired, you look out there and you see those people, and you're ready to go. Typically, Granddad says, stands beside stage. He's like, you ready? We go and do it. Him at his age, watching how he's always on time and always ready to go. In my mind, there's no excuse. His energy is always at 10. So we just got off a tour. I think we did 21 cities back to back. He's 82. You know what I'm saying? Showed up to everyone, did his thing. We have, in our band now, we have some of the older band members, we have newer band members. We do the new music. He's always given an artist an opportunity. Like, literally, I think he's probably employed 200 people on stage. This is just the stage, I'm not even talking about administration and management, musicians. He's given a lot of people a chance to come out and do their thing and share their talent with the world. And that's an opportunity people get every day. You got some people just look at you like, Granddad will actually listen. And then next thing still feels like you're in the Matrix. I mean, you know, it's a vibe, as they say. It is a whole vibe.
Well, we're about 30 minutes in. I'd like to open it up to anyone for questions now. Is that okay? Oh, I'm moderating. Yes, okay.
Good afternoon. I'm Brenda Seiler with the Washington Informer. Here in Washington, D.C., Black female-owned newspaper going into its 60th year. The elephant in the room, AI. Let's talk about that and how that is also impacting classics as well as new. And when you are orienting people as to doing contracts, how do you weave that in to that conversation? Because standards being set by the Recording Academy, the Grammys, Screen Actors Guild, Writers Guild, so the standards are being established now. What do you tell those who are dying and so eager to get into music and recording? Thank you, and thank you all for being here today.
The AI thing, I feel is still, like you said, it's being worked out. We were just watching something a few minutes ago where it had Frank Sinatra's voice, but he's rapping Eminem. And my grandfather was so tickled he kept watching it. He thought it was hilarious. And it's literally Frank Sinatra's voice rapping Eminem. So, it sounds good. It sounds good. But it's also like nerve-wracking. Like, it's weird, right? Like, you know, someone can take my voice and put it on something, put it in a movie. So you ask yourself, what do you own? Right? What do you really own? That's one issue. And then it's the arts is, when as it pertains to music, is interesting because even streaming, you know, you're not really getting paid for your music anymore. You know, back then you go to this record store and you buy your albums and you get a cut out of each unit you know bought. Now, 100,000 people can stream your song and it has absolutely no impact. So you kind of feel like you're giving your artistry away. So I think it's interesting watching where it's gonna go and what their plans are. Because AI literally I'm shocked. I mean, you can put a whole head. Have you guys seen the AI where they have it would be like Donald Glover and you know, different artists and they're dancing? Like, it's the whole thing. Yeah, it's a whole thing. So we laugh at it, but then you say, wait, this is going somewhere. This is going to be really strange, you know.
I will say, as far as from the nonprofit's perspective, we are not lawyers. We may work with some, but what we will tell you is to make sure that you have adequate representation as the laws are being developed, as we are figuring out the contracts need. And I know you're anxious to jump out there, but even if you think right now you want your art to be pure art and you don't, or you're not worried about monetizing it, when you see someone making millions of dollars off of your work, you can think that. So get some things in place and be patient enough to have the adequate representation as you put your art out there so that you don't mind it. However, the laws.
Any other questions?
I'll bring my question. I heard you speak about a lot of the music and stuff that's going on now. What would you say will be a better tip for us to change the culture narrative on the music and how we display to our youth?
It's kind of hard to control. But I think it changes over time. So right now, you know, you may be in one space, and then as time evolves, it goes to another space. I think it's constantly evolving. You really can't harp on it too much. As far as the youth, it's constantly at their fingertips. So you're gonna see it. You're going to see it, you're going to feel it, you're gonna hear it. I just think that's kind of tricky now. It's kind of hard to have a hold on your younger children and what they're watching and stuff like that. You know, when you, Uncle Luke, you know, back in the day, you may have heard Uncle Luke on the radio, maybe not. But you may have heard his song, but you're not seeing his day-to-day life, right? Or his videos are coming on at certain times or whatever. It was more monitored. Now it's not, which is fine. I mean, people be people, and music is music, and you have different vibes with different people. I just think that if you're trying to control it, I don't think you're really
control, I agree. It's hard to do, but what I will say, if you want to change it, I'm a big fan of building and raising what you want to see. So if we diversify access to the arts, you know, the arts in school is quick to get cut. But if we can continue supporting opportunities for artists, then you'll have more variety of what's out there. And if the powers that be, if we have more diversity in who's making the decisions and who's deciding what goes on the radio and who gets what screen time, if we raise the musical executives that we want to see and we support them and we pour our funds into them, you'll see something different because what they'll have access to is different. So I think we have to know that we control what we fund and what we support, and that's how you see the change overall when there's not a monopoly and who controls the media.
I agree with that. I'm told at this point we want to bring up the management stuff to add something to this conversation. We've been talking around George Clinton.
Y'all was doing good. I like to sit back and listen like that. Sound real good. It's good to hear y'all and something whatever we was doing out there. I want to thank y'all and my wife, that was my cohort and my partner. That is, wow, y'all brought me to tears. I didn't know y'all was paying that much attention. And the next generation, my great-grandkids over here, glad to have them paying attention too. So what was the question?
Essentially, you know, how do you see music these days? I mean, that's kind of the question I ask people who I've listened to for most of my life.
The same way my parents saw it when we was coming up and they would listen to Pop Bam Boom. Saying, what the hell is y'all saying? It's always going to be like that. Kids are always going to challenge their big brothers and sisters or their parents' music. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to, it evolves. Parents don't like it. Eventually, they learn to dance to it. You know, and it's cool. And you look back and find some of them in the Hall of Fame that you hated. My thing, I found out that anything that came out that got on my nerve, that I said, this ain't music, I learned to follow that. That's probably the next new music. Because if it don't get on the nerve, it ain't doing nothing anyway. You know, so I might not like it, but eventually it ended up being what we call the shit. So I want to be down, so I reserved my right before I started complaining about it. Then I realized, I'm glad I didn't say that. Because that was happening now. You know, I can always look like I was in on it. Matter of fact, if they tell you, if I see somebody that's way out there, I go help them. I know some of the things that may help get in their way, so I'll go out there and participate with them, but I can read, this is going to work. And I found out I could be proud of a lot of people that I felt like that about. And I was just telling them in the back there, the three people that's really hot now on the internet, you know, Raquel just put out a new record. I was so glad that I've been preaching his name forever. I've been knowing Eminem since he was about 13. I watched him go through all of that, and he can be really crazy, but he's always been really good. And Kendrick Lamar, I worked with him when she first got with us. She said, Granddad, he's going to be one of them. He's going to be somebody you like, blah, blah, blah. And I've been on this job ever since he came out. We did To Pimp a Butterfly. I realized I was glad that I did that. Because now he is all of that. Eminem is all of that. And Rakim is coming out again, which makes me really feel good because I run my mouth so much. And he's like myself. Not as old as me, but he's old school for as hip-hop is concerned. No, he ain't. He's new school. He's always been new school, and he's going to be new school. He's that good. To see those that work like that, I'm glad to be loose and give room to whatever new is coming out. And it's music, it's all music. With the digital stuff, I watched enough Star Trek and that I'm a Star Trek fan. I know we're going to have some robots funking and pretty soon dancing, what you call twerking. You're going to have a robot everything. All that we did, that we like, you're going to find robots doing it and other entities and all of that. That's me. I'm crazy, been crazy. I'm waiting for aliens.
At what point in your career did you get brave enough to do, to change up when you went from the Parliament, when you went to Funkadelic, when you started infusing rock and soul, which, the industry doesn't seem to like that?
I was a Motown freak. I mean, everything about Motown, from Smokey through to Jackson 5, I was from the beginning. When I realized that they peaked, just as the Jackson 5 came in, that there was, you mean there's possibly an ending to this? When I realized that could happen, then I realized that it evolves, it just changes. It's still the same. It evolved into something that my parents and my grandparents would listen to was blues. Elmore James and Lightning Hopkins. But it was coming from England. You had Led Zeppelin, Beatles, and Rolling Stone doing our grandparents' music. I felt kind of ashamed of myself. I didn't know, Robert Johnson. And I didn't hear from Eric Clapton. I learned that you got to respect that old school stuff, no matter what it is. And if you don't give it away, because we gave it away. We knew we was going to be cool, we going to be the next one. We don't want to do that old. We got to keep our artists installed. I mean, not installed, but, the Walk of Fame, or, what I'm saying? We got to recognize them. And when the new music comes, you can appreciate it and go on about it the way we do. I learned that changing up was the key. So I started changing up beforehand. Soon as Motown left, and I didn't have to wear a suit again, give me a Halloween tie. I didn't have to have my ties and shirts pressed with 5 other guys. Give me nothing. I went out there, but naked. Then right here in D.C., I come out of a spaceship. Right here in D.C. at the Capitol Center. Naked with a... I know there's somebody who did that myself. Yeah, no, we did that. It was clowning, but I worked in a barber shop. I always say this, we made people cool. We did processing, so we knew styles. We knew styles for the clothes because the hairstyles had to fit. So I was aware of styles a long time ago. And when I realized that it didn't matter, that you could be as cool as you want to be, somebody come along with a pair of jeans with holes in them and patches on them and say, fuck you, and that was cool. It just showed me that cool can change its image every now and then. And oh, that's cool. I never thought that this was cool. Ain't no way in the hell you could have got me in this. And when I was back in those days, I was about a 3-piece suit, tailor-made at that. I couldn't buy those. That's how we were about. So when styles and music and all that changes, I'm really kind of up on a lot of people because I treasure that. I treasure being able to go out and be a fool. come back and look whatever is new, I can set the trends on that too. I can be a part of it. I'm flexible enough to go along with whatever it is that's happening. At the same time, that don't define me. I can do it all, it don't matter. But it's in DC, Chocolate City, CC, talking about this shit like this is really fun because this is where we actually got the nerve to do it. I mean, from Woke to WOL to Web to all of that, we were down here in the 60s, doo-wopping at the Howard League, along with the tents and all of that. And later on, we had a spaceship at the Capitol Center. There was another affiliate at the Constitution Hall. This whole East Coast, from Baltimore, Washington, we called it New York City. That was where we had the funk, we was in Jersey. So being able to sit here with y'all and talk about it like artsy-fartsy, this is cool as hell, you know, paint and stuff like that. I mean, you didn't think of it in the ghetto until in the 80s, when graffiti started coming out and surrounding itself with Funkadelic and Parliament. Then all of a sudden, my signature as an artist became art. People started saying, put that dog on there. What dog? Did you get it? Just draw a dog face on the autograph. Now that dog is $40,000, $50,000. And I'm like, damn, I was telling them. But we had people that did the album over to Lord, Robert Evans, who was here in DC, Pedro Bell. They've been with us since we started. And keeping that part of the metaphor, the art circles, Dr. Funkstein, Bootsy, everybody became part of the cosmology, as we call it, the Brides of Funkstein, Parliament. Here in DC, we call it Chocolate City because we were allowed to do that.
The seat of politics, at what point, or is there responsibility for artists to be social commentators? Maybe not drivers, but just to observe?
I went out of my way to not be a part of no particular situation. You know, I speak my mind, I can say my things, my thoughts, but it's going to be to make you think about it. It's not, I ain't going to make no decision, because shit might change, and I'm going to change my mind, and I might be able to get you down the road where you don't have the strength to change your mind. So I try not to be a preacher, but I'll say something, free your mind, your ass for follow. We're just a biological speculation, sitting here vibrating. We don't know what we're vibrating about. The animal instinct in me makes me want to defend me, makes me want to live when it's time to die. Y'all see my point? I don't mean to come on strong, but I am concerned. I believe in God, and I know that law and order must prevail. But if and when the laws of man are not just, equal, and fair, then the laws of nature will come and do her thing. She does not think, she works by instinct. Survival is her thing. Y'all see my point? I ain't saying shit. If you understand that we good people.
Backstage about you introducing Pepper Steele on a couple of your songs.
And I put a country guitar in that just fell.
And that's what people's minds, and that's what you want to do. I'm told this is going to be our final question. What if you had the soapbox, the biggest soapbox in the country now? What would you say to people who are interested in becoming musicians, who want to support artists of any kind, who want to follow you as an example of somebody who did their thing?
Watch out, follow me. You may step in something. Anybody, you know, follow your heart. If you love it, it's easy. If you can't get all the way into it, just do it as a hobby. But if you're serious about it, you have to really love it with the ups and downs. I mean, it never bothered me that funk went out of style 2 or 3 times. But it comes back if you got the patience to keep going with it. So I ain't got no advice. Get you online, YouTube, can teach you pretty much how to do anything. Just find out what you need to know, like I said, about the business. First of all, that's the first. But other than that, do it if you feel it.
Thank you, Mr. Clinton, for flying out yesterday. It was a long day you stood with us. Thank you to the family who shared your knowledge of what it takes to protect the elections. Xavier, hope this is not the last time we see you while this is done. To all of you, this gallery is open for business. We want you to come and enjoy this art. And we want to hear your ideas. We want to learn about some of the things that you want to see. What are you noticing out in the community? What trends should we be really spotlighting, and how can we as an agency support as artists? What I'm here to share. All of my interns. We appreciate you so much. And this is Chocolate City. We thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
So we're going to just pretty much end up right here. So again, we all have different divisions here. So I'm with the business of the arts, and I look at this as the business of the arts signature series. That's when we have the big talent like this. So again, just one more time for everybody.
It's so important when you look at the art and look at all different aspects of it. So many times, you know, we look at the performances and things like that, but it's just very important when you think about all the things that go, you know, behind the scenes. I like to also thank our staff. I like to definitely thank our executive director, Mr. Aaron Myers, as well as our commission chair, Mr. Reginald Van Lee. Without them, it wouldn't have been possible, but again, it all starts with a vision. And so I'd like to also say thank you to the Parliament Funkadelic family, Mr. George Clinton, Tanisha Nelson, Xavier Croft, as well as everyone else that has allowed us to just kind of come in and make this happen.